Welcome to Time to Buy or Sell by Weichert Realtors Sierra Pacific Group. Today we will be discussing the housing market in Natomas.
Yeah, I am really excited to get into this deep dive today.
Same here. And thanks to all of you for tuning in. Our mission today is basically to take all this recent MLS data plus some 2026 market research and just sort of translate it into actionable, simple terms.
Right, for anyone who's looking to buy or sell in the area right now.
Exactly. Because, setting the baseline reality for buyers and sellers out there right now, it's pretty fascinating. What are we actually seeing between late February and late March 2026?
Well, the numbers are tight. Across the entire Natomas area, we only had 185 active listings and just 56 closed sales.
Wait, only 185?
Yeah, it is incredibly restricted. Homes are closing at a median of $550,000, and they're taking about 28 days on the market to sell.
Okay, so it's basically like a high-stakes game of musical chairs. I mean, the music stops really fast for the best houses.
That is exactly what it feels like. It leaves us with an incredibly tight 1.14 months of supply overall.
Which is almost nothing. But here's my question. If inventory is that restricted, I see they are selling at roughly 99% of their list price. How does that 99% translate to actual negotiating power for today's buyers?
So sellers definitely still have the upper hand because of that tiny 1 month supply, but buyers are hitting this hard affordability ceiling.
Right, because of the interest rates.
Exactly. Mortgages are hovering right around 6%. Buyers desperately want the house, but the math simply doesn't allow for those massive bidding wars anymore.
That makes total sense. But since overall inventory is so tight, I feel like we need to look at how specific neighborhoods are behaving differently to find the real opportunities.
Oh, for sure. The 99% average really masks some wild neighborhood swings.
Yeah, it's kind of a tale of three zip codes.
Right. So let's look at 95834 first. Prices there actually took a 7.4% year-over-year drop.
Wow.
Yeah, down to $465,000. And homes are sitting unsold for way longer, about 64 days on the market.
Okay, wait, let me push back on the data there. If inventory is universally tight everywhere else, why did that specific neighborhood take such a hit? Is this price divergence purely about newer builds in North Natomas versus older homes in the South? Or are buyers, prioritizing specific community vibes?
It really comes down to how buyers are reacting to those 6% rates. 95834 is sort of caught in a real estate no man's land right now.
Ah, okay.
It lacks the ultra-premium, newer suburban draw of North Natomas, which is the 95835 zip code. Values up there are completely buoyed by strong employment centers, fast airport access, and, highly rated schools.
And people are willing to pay for that lifestyle.
Big time. Median prices there rose to $550,000, and they had 89 recent sales.
Okay, but what about the 95833 zip code South Natomas? That area stayed totally steady at $457,500, and homes are selling in just 30 days. That doesn't track if everyone just wants the newest amenities.
It entirely tracks when you look at the monthly payment.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, 95833 represents the affordability floor. Buyers who are priced out of the north are jumping on those South Natomas homes because they still get the great Natomas location, but at a price that actually works with their budget.
Yeah, I mean, you get the location without the massive price tag. But speaking of price tags, even if you win a home in that premium 95835 area, you are inheriting some hidden local constraints.
You really are.
It's like buying a great car but needing premium gas. You're buying the fantastic commute and community, but you absolutely have to budget for the flood insurance.
Yes, this is huge. The city of Sacramento designates Natomas as an A99 high-risk flood zone.
Which sounds intimidating, but what does that actually mean for a buyer?
It means that if you use a federally backed mortgage, the government strictly requires you to carry federal flood insurance. It's a non-negotiable monthly cost. Plus, you have local conservation mitigation fees on new development.
Right, to protect the local wildlife and the basin.
Exactly. But it just adds this persistent layer of cost to the housing pipeline that you have to be prepared for.
Totally. Which, brings us to a pretty provocative thought to end on. The Federal Reserve held policy rates steady in March 2026.
Right, keeping mortgages right around that 6% mark.
So the market is basically balanced on a nice edge.
Completely. With only 1 month of housing supply, if rates dip even slightly, that pent-up demand is going to flood right back in.
Yeah, and the tiny inventory will vanish instantly.
Exactly.
So if you're waiting for rates to drop before you buy, you really have to ask yourself, isn't everyone else doing the exact same thing? The real question is whether you can afford to compete if the floodgates open tomorrow.
That is the million-dollar question.
Thanks for listening to Time to Buy or Sell. If you have questions about real estate in Natomas, we're here to help. Reach out to us at Weichert Realtors Sierra Pacific Group, that's Weichert Realtors, online at wrspg.com, or call 916-619-1971.